Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Us pushed out. Such an awesome topic. It's one I very much enjoy, and one I'm going to do a little bit different twist on this particular show. Now, a lot of us kind of project this us pushed out onto other people, right? They see everyone as us pushed out. It's sort of a very black and white thing that's said by a lot of law of attraction people. Oh, that's you pushed out. That's you pushed out. It's us pushed out. It's me pushed out. It's a pushed out thing. And I feel like to a large extent, it's been so overly simplified. And I've seen a lot of people ask questions that I actually think it's because us pushed out has actually confused them. So I'm going to kind of cover it from a slightly different angle, but it directly applies. And I think if we use it properly, and this is my ask to you, if we use this properly, and if we pay attention to the little conversations we have inside our brains, to the things we think and say about situations that we're seeing, and essentially if we're perceiving things, because a lot of the times, right, a lot of the times we see something, we have no real information, but our brains, the way they work, they want to create a story around it. They want to make sense of it. So we'll take that snapshot, that freeze frame, and we'll add story to it. This is where I think if we pay attention, it gives us some of the best insight out there, especially when conversations occur inside our mind. I'm doubtful I'm the only one that does this, but I've had a lot of situations maybe where I had a friend or someone that I wanted to discuss something with. Maybe I was upset about something and I kind of felt like I needed to speak my truth. So maybe I have that conversation in my mind. I play it out. I kind of play out what they'd say. I play what I'd say back. And it's funny is when you pay attention to those, especially, you'll catch yourself projecting stuff frequently. And what that means to me, at least when I use it, is I catch myself in the places where I have things that I need to work on. I have beliefs, or I have some sort of thing that's holding me back. And the way I notice that is by what I notice in others, by what I notice in the world around me. That is how I know what's going on inside of me. Huh? I know. Frequently, people talk about if you want to change something on the outside, you change it on the inside. So the converse of that is by paying attention to what you're noticing on the outside, you start to figure out what's going on the inside. It's a very good way to kind of keep yourself in check. If you don't like what's going on in your life, make some changes internally, and you'll start to notice almost immediately that the external things in your life will start to change. Now, let me give some examples and what I really mean by us pushed out. So I think this comes into play is with probably two of our key senses. I would say sight and hearing, typically. And I would also say that your sixth sense would come into play as well. So certainly your perception or any sort of answers you come to all on your own. Now again, if someone walks up to you and says, "My God, I hate people, I hate you, and I think you're a horrible human being, don't ever talk to me again," and blah, 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 and walk away. If you were to say, "Yeah, I think that guy hates me," that's not you pushed out. Now, you might have attracted that guy to you to have that weird situation, but the fact that you're coming to the conclusion that he evidently doesn't like you is based off of, not to be redundant, but based off of some form of evidence. He just freaked out on me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't like me. I don't think that's me pushed out. Now, granted, I attracted him to me. I attracted this guy to walk up to me and say, "Yeah, you're a dirtbag," and then walk away. And it's like, huh? Like, okay. But the fact that I'm perceiving him, or the fact that I see him or hear him as a dirtbag, I don't think that is the same thing. Now, what I am talking about, though, and this is kind of where it gets a little fun, and I'm going to use an example or two, we'll see. But say you're in a grocery store, and say you've got an elderly woman that seems to be looking up at the top shelf, like maybe she's interested in getting something up there. Now, she might be able to get to it, maybe if she stepped up on one of the steps, or maybe if she really got up on her tiptoes, she might be able to reach what's up there, who knows. There's a gentleman, older, standing across the aisle from her, happens to glance over, happens to see that she's trying to reach some, well, or seems to be struggling to look up and maybe try to get something. And so he asks, "Oh, miss, do you need any help grabbing anything from up there?" And she says, "Ah, blah, blah, blah." And then he walks, grabs it, and hands it to her, and then he walks away. Now, I'm saying you and I are standing at the end of the aisle. And we're seeing this happen. We just saw this play out. Now, you and I could have very different takes on this, on what just happened, right? From a distance, we both saw someone that looked over, noticed that someone was looking up, and then walked over, had a conversation with him. We couldn't hear it because we were too far away, but had a conversation, obviously, because I watched it. I watched them talk, and it's like watching Charlie Brown, right? Right? So, saw something happen, saw him reach up, saw him hand it to her, and saw him walk away. Now, there's a couple ways that can play out. And again, this is very hyperbolic and very extreme, but meant to kind of help make that transition into what I'm talking about. Most people would look at that situation and go, well, oh, that lady needed help. She couldn't reach, and she was looking up there. Seems like her interest was on that top shelf. And maybe she was debating on whether or not she could get something else because she didn't see how she could reach that. And the guy, being a kind individual, maybe he's got an elderly mother or something that lives with him, or so, I don't know, who knows. Maybe he's just very aware of these things, was brought up right. That would be a good way to look at it. Looks over and goes, I wonder if she needs assistance. Let me ask. Never hurts to ask, they say. So he walks over to her and he's like, Miss, do you need help? I notice you're looking for something up there on the top. Can I grab it for you? Are you good? Or, you know, everything all right? Yeah, I'd like those tomatoes up there. All right, yeah, sure. There you go. You just want one? Is that good? All right, cool. Well, have a great day. Walk away before she asks him to do something else. Who knows, right? But, which is funny because that's actually a great example. So we're going to come back to that. One person could see it as, oh my God, how nice. That's sweet. That's amazing. That's wonderful. Did you see that nice thing that man did? None of us know for sure what just played out, right? He could have walked up to her and said, what, are you too short to grab stuff? Are you trying to get the tomatoes? Yeah. Well, there they are. Here they are, you shorty. Walk away, right? Could have been mean. I don't know. But really, the way I just made up the story played out, he was being nice. So a lot of people would see that and be like, oh, that's really, really nice. Because that's what we understand. That's what we believe. That's where we come from. But there are some people that look at the world in a very different way. They see everything in shades of problems. Everything's bad. Everything's horrible. Everything needs to be fixed, right? So they may see an interaction like this play out, and they might decide, dude, that guy's just mean. He's mean. He probably walked over to her and said something. He's just taking advantage of the fact that she's older, that she could take care of this herself. What, is she not capable? What does he think she's not, right? Like, they could start to play it into this whole other direction. And they could believe that's what happened. Even though the reality of it is, the dude was just trying to help the lady. But if I look at it, and I've got some sort of belief structure that just painted this picture differently, I'll see that as a situation where this guy thought she couldn't handle her own thing and tried to help, which is so wrong. That's part of this patriarchal society, right? I'm just trying to plug some of the things I've heard people say, right? Like, and that's the way they see it. Now, one question, obviously, who's right? And I would say, I guess, the person that actually described what happened correctly is right. But unfortunately, that's not really how the game is played anymore. Each of us feel we're right. And what conclusion I just came to, if I'm the one that sees everything in a horrible way, I'm right. And you're a bad person. Maybe you're a racist. Maybe you're something else. Maybe you're who knows. You're a misogynist. You're an ageist. Who knows? You're something. You're something bad. Something's wrong with you. Your mom didn't hug you enough. So that's how I see it. And I'm right, even though I'm not. But I'll go on Facebook. I'll tell everybody this is what's up. I'll tell my friends when I have discussions with them, this is what's up. This is how it is. That's us pushed out. That's perception. That's me pushing onto others. You know, there's a fun adage in the spiritual stuff, at least back from when I was reading it, back before The Secret, back before Law of Attraction was even talked about. There was the concept of you see in others what you most like and dislike about yourself. You can only notice something in another if it's something that you understand, you do, you know. If it's not something you understand or know, you won't see it. You won't recognize it. You won't be able to because of where you're coming from, where your mind's already at, where your beliefs are at. You're going to project your beliefs onto whatever this situation is, and you're going to come to a conclusion. And that conclusion, in our minds, is going to be right, but in a lot of cases is not, and in some cases is horribly wrong because of the perceptions that we have. Sometimes when you are able to see situations such as this person helping the lady in the store, or you're able to see where kindness is happening, where acts are happening. Maybe you're hopping on Instagram and you see your specific person and some other person that's a opposite sex, maybe, right? You see them laughing. Some of us are going to look at that and be like, yeah, he's a fun-loving guy. That's why I like him. This is a friend of his probably, whatever. They're having a good time. It's Instagram. They're on the beach, it looks like. There's, others. I see a campfire in the background, whatever. Having a good time. It's awesome. Cool. That's why I like him. He's fun-loving. Some of us will look at that picture without any extra information and decide that he's dating her. I say he in this case, could be a she. That they're dating each other. That there's more going on, that this person's now a risk to everything that I'm trying to accomplish. Is it right? Is it not right? In a lot of cases, it's not. It's us pushing our belief onto a situation and then deciding that's what is happening. It's not so much that us pushed out attracted her, especially if she's just a friend, if she's not a threat legitimately. Let's take aside the fact that maybe you believe that. Let's remove that for a second. Let's say for fact this is a friend. We know this. We talked to a third party. They're doing it secretly, right? But they told us that, they did, third party says, no, they're just friends. Not interested. Neither one of them are. They both have other people they're into or whatever, right? Like, not interested. Friends, had a good night. I think they hugged once the whole night. That was it. That was as close to anything they ever got. Just friends. But the way we perceive it could be vastly different. We might see that he's cheating, that he's interested in her. So now all of a sudden we start playing all these scenarios out in our minds. We start saying, well, I've attracted a third party. I know it's me pushed out. I know all this. That's not true. It's not necessarily you pushed out. Could just be him and a friend. It's the fact that we decide what it is. That's when it becomes us pushed out. And that's when our beliefs, that's when our understanding of things, that's when our fears show themselves. That's when they come out, is when we make up and fill in the dots on what's going on. That's why a lot of times it's not a good idea to try to manifest the middle ground, by the way, is because a lot of us are dealing with some confusion, some doubts, and some other things. So instead of trying to manifest the end result, which is being with the person, we'll actually try to manifest the third party away because we feel like that has to happen before we can be with the person we want to be with. But you're missing the point of the manifestation. You manifest the person. That will take care of itself when the manifestation occurs. When you start trying to manifest the bits and pieces or messing with the middle ground, I'll link it below. It's a video I did. When you start messing with all that, you kind of start to screw with things. And again, it comes back to your perception. So if I'm perceiving something to be a certain way, and then I'm acting accordingly, well, if I'm right, awesome. If I happen to be wrong, you're doing damage now, right? If it's just a friend, literally, we're just going to stay with this topic for a second. If this person I saw on Instagram is just a friend, is not a third party at all, just a friend, they probably won't even see each other for another 4 months, and it'll be at another beach party at the end of the summer. But I think they've done something, and I see it as a problem. I'll hop on their Instagram. I'll leave some sort of weird cryptic message maybe, or some sort of passive-aggressive thing, thinking that, oh, he'll know what I'm saying. He knows I got him. He knows I caught him. And he's like, I have no idea what the hell this is. Now you look like a weirdo. Now you look strange because you're assuming you got it all figured out, but maybe you're actually wrong. One of the funnest examples, and I mean fun very sarcastically, but I've been there on both sides of this. I've been a bad person many times in my life. Learned lessons, though. It's important. But I've also been on the receiving end. But cheating is a funny one. So one of the things that's funny is if you're the cheater, you see cheaters everywhere. You think your girl's cheating on you. You think things are happening because that's where you are. So that's what you see. That's what you project everywhere. That is your concern. So if I'm a cheater and I'm cheating on my girl and I still love her or whatever, right? And then she's hanging out with a friend, well, I'll get jealous. She's obviously interested in him. She's probably cheating. And I'm not saying this is why people doubt that their person's interested in them. I'm just saying it's an example. So if I'm a cheater, I see cheaters everywhere. I see cheating everywhere. I fear cheating everywhere. I fear I'm going to get what I'm putting out. Even though the individual may not be cheating, I see it still. Now, one of the fun things, we've talked about this a lot, if you keep focusing on how they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat, you end up creating a situation where they cheat. Very likely. They may not choose to. Maybe they pass the first few hundred times, or maybe they eventually become, like Tiger Woods, and they give in to the thousandth Swedish lady that approached him that day. I don't know. But a lot of times we will project things onto situations and stir the waters, muddy the waters, cause problems because we think we've got it so figured out. That is us pushed out. Again, so many people see it as no, they're there because it's us pushed out. No, what you're perceiving of them is you pushed out. Them being there can be a lot of things. They don't necessarily have to be a catalyst. That might be your impression. Now, again, if you've got facts and someone walks up to you and says, you are a horrible person, I hate you, and then they walk away, you're like, well, that guy obviously doesn't like me. I'm not being insecure by thinking that. He just said that. Now, if I start to internalize and go, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm like, right, well then maybe. And if I start feeling all bummed and depressed about it, yeah, that's probably not a good thing. And if I look at it and be like, that's really weird that the universe just brought that to me. Am I being that way? And then kind of take a little moment to do some self-reflection and be like, no, I don't think that's true. I mean, I think I pretty much treat people. It was just probably some weird random situation I attracted to myself. Cool. Awesome. I hope he's having a good day. Apparently not. But just let it go. It's one of those things where if you don't know, if you haven't been given the information, if you haven't been given all the pieces of the puzzle, and I know most of us fill in the blanks. It's the way our brains work. If you're filling in the blanks, you're filling it in as you pushed out. If you tend to be a good person, you tend to believe in good things, you're going to project that onto them. Doesn't make it right. If you tend to believe in bad things and you see bad things every go, you're going to project that onto them. Doesn't mean you're right. What we're projecting is what's inside of us. What you see everywhere is what is going on inside of you, inside of me. That's what's amazing about this us pushed out discussion. It tells you what you need to work on. What are you seeing all over the place? Do you see cheaters and liars and stealers? Do you see lovers and people that are families and kids with their parents being awesome? What do you see when you look around? Do you see mixtures? Probably. Most of us do. When we have those discussions inside of our head, do we tend to be accusatory? It's one of my favorite things is when you point fingers. When you say to someone, you are being this way, almost a guarantee, immediately stop yourself and say, what did I just accuse them of? Almost a guarantee, you just accuse them of something that you do. You're pointing three fingers back at you. It's one of my favorite phrases, right? These three fingers are pointing back at me as I point at you. We project all the time. We think we've got things figured out all the time. We, quote, live in worlds where we keep seeing the same thing all the time. And that's how everybody is. No, it's not. The number of people that are like what you see are the number of people that are like what you see. There are a whole bunch of other people that are different than that. No matter what. They could be good, they could be bad, they could be anywhere in between. People come in all shapes and sizes, all flavors and varieties. We come in all sorts of different forms. Everywhere. We got every walk under the sun. What you're seeing and what you are attracting to you is what's going on inside of you. It's who you are. It's what you believe. So if something's not working to your advantage, what's going on inside of you? What do you keep seeing? What do you keep getting threatened by? You afraid they're going to cheat on you because they once did before? We've done shows on that. I get you. But if you're seeing something everywhere you look, that is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And if your fear is that something is happening, you need to address that fear. You need to look at what's causing this fear, this us pushed out moment, this fact that I keep painting people with certain colors on my brush, and that's not the color that goes with them. I keep painting these people red, but they should be green. Why do I keep doing that? Why am I constantly wrong about green people? I don't get it. I mean, the only green person I can think of is Guardians of the Galaxy. Very attractive green person, by the way. Of all the green people. Oh, yeah, you get the Oompa Loompas. No, they were blue. Who else? Oh, Smurfs are blue, too. I'm trying to think. There's another set of green people I feel like out there, but whatever. Lots of green people. Let's love green people today. Find a green person and hug them today. That's the one friendly thing I'd ask for. That's all. Hopefully this makes a difference. Us pushed out. We're painting the world around us. Sometimes we use a large brush to paint everybody. Sometimes maybe we use too small a brush. But ultimately, we're using a brush to paint what we're perceiving around us. What are you perceiving? What do you want to perceive? I mean, if you want accuracy, you can get to that, by the way. You can certainly learn to try to be more accurate in what you perceive. So you can see the good and the bad. You can see the up and the down, and you can see what people are up to. But for the most part, if we're just projecting what's going on, if we're just assuming what's going on, if we're making facts up, yeah, you're projecting at that point. And what conclusion are you coming to? Well, that's where you're at energetically. If you tend to see a great world around you, yeah, that's where you're vibrating at, and it's awesome. That's a great place to be. And trust me, when you are vibrating at that, great people do seem to show up all over the place. As I said, you see what you expect to see, and you attract more of what you expect to see. If you expect to see bad things, you will attract more bad things. If you continue to see bad things, you will continue to attract more bad things. If you think bad things are all that exist around the world, that will be shown to you and then some. What do you want to believe? What do you want to experience? How do you want your life to be? Do you want to see problems everywhere you look? Or do you want to see how things are actually working out? How things are actually being better? How things are actually improving? How the fact that, yeah, they were just with that friend, but it's funny is I put a smiley face in there and then they commented back and said, I hope you're doing well. I wish you could have been here. And you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Instead of being the one that goes, ooh, cryptic, passive-aggressive thing, right? And then the dude looks at it, he's like, I don't know. She was so cool a day ago. I don't know what's going on with this. And maybe showing the friend, like, what's this? Like, I don't know. Maybe she's jealous or something, right? Like, I mean, chicks seem to understand other ladies, that's for sure. Dudes seem to understand other men. Like, we all understand the other generally pretty good until a relationship needs to happen. Then it gets confusing. But outside of that, pay attention to what you're seeing. Pay attention to the blanks that you keep filling in and what you're actually writing into those blanks. That's what's going on inside of you. That's what you are seeing. And that's maybe why you're having a hard time with your manifestation, or that's why you're succeeding and you're constantly going, yeah, because everything does feel like it's moving in the right direction. It gives you a great indication of where you are. Us pushed out. It's fantastic stuff. And if used properly, probably one of the best tools out there to really get a taste for where you're at. Stay on Radio Style.